Hey everybody, it's Craig Beckta here from craigbecta.com, and in this video I'm going to walk you through Capture One Pro as fast as I can. Alright, so let's get started. So here we are in Capture One Pro. This just came out mid-September. Now you can create catalogs or sessions like you could in Lightroom, so that's that tab there. If you shoot tethered, your camera information comes up here. I did a quick test, and Capture One Pro 8 was twice as fast as tethering to Lightroom, but that'll depend on your camera and your USB cable. Here you can see you have your histogram, you have some preset curves that you can sample from here, film standard, high contrast, you can see that makes some changes to your image. You've got your white balance right here, you've got as shot, auto, daylight, so if you're shooting raw you have some choices there. Only thing I found was that the Kelvin here appears different than it does in Adobe Lightroom. So if you were at 6,000 Kelvin, say, 6,000 Kelvin looks different, so you'll have to work on that. So maybe shoot a color checker passport or a gray target. Also, they have a really cool skin tone. If you take this right here and you pick an area of skin tone to click on, you'll see the area show up here. If you hit this, it'll show you a broader area of that skin tone, and then you can make some adjustments to the skin tone. By sliding this uniformity slider, you can balance out some skin tones, which I think is pretty cool. Now, if we come over here, we've got the same adjustments you'd see in Lightroom, Adobe Camera Raw. I'm just going to lower this exposure a bit. And then for highlight and shadow, you can only go to the right. So to recover the highlights, I'm just going to drag to the right to recover some of those highlights. For shadow, it didn't stick for some reason. And for shadow, you would do the same thing. If I want to bring up my shadows, I just go to the right. So that's the shadow tool. I think we can bring the shadows up just a tweak on that one. And then if you come up here to your upper right, that triangle, that's your highlight warning. So you can see her earrings kind of blown out. If I turn that off, you'll see that disappear. So that's how you control that. Also, they have a focus mask, which is pretty neat on this. So it shows whether your image is in focus. So you can see it's fairly sharp. I shot this on the Canon 135 f2. I think it was around f2.8. You can see it at the bottom right there. And then they have a really neat little loop tool. So if you have a bunch of images and you might have missed focus, if you click on the eye, you can quickly examine the eye without having to zoom into the whole image. And you can say, yep, that's a sharp image. We'll work on this one. So I like that. And let's move on to, oh, actually, I want to show you this. The clarity, they have some different choices for clarity. Neutral, punch, natural. We'll just leave it on natural. And the thing is, all of this is adjustable, just like it is in Adobe Camera Raw or Lightroom. The one thing I found is that with Capture One Pro 8, I bring an image in, and with the default settings, it looks pretty good to me, and I don't have to do a whole lot. Now, you might find the sharpening a little excessive, but I'll get to that in a second. So here's your section where you do your lens corrections, and also they have a tool here where you can analyze the image for chromatic aberration. And then here we have a crop tool, and then we have this section here. Now, by default, there's a certain amount of sharpening. For some people, that might be great. Maybe for a portrait, maybe not. But all you have to do is reduce the amount of sharpening here. And then also, when you export this image, you can disable the sharpening altogether if you want to. So that's not a big issue. I know someone made a comment before saying that they think Capture One Pro puts too much sharpening on the raw images. Well, you can adjust that, so it's not a big issue. Now you have local adjustments here, and then what you can do is create 10 different layers of adjustments. And so for me, I like to just do some raw adjustments and then go into Photoshop and do a certain amount of work. Some people I know like to do all their work in an editor, like say Lightroom. Some people never leave Lightroom. I don't know if you can work on a complete portrait yet in Capture One Pro 8. You'd have to try. So here you would create the adjustments. You would just click here, create a new adjustment layer. You can call it whatever you want. And then you have a brush up here. So if we wanted to just bring up her hair, say, I could just sort of paint on her hair. And I can adjust the size of this brush, the opacity of this brush. I'm just going to show you really quickly. And then if I wanted to just bring up the exposure on that, then I would just come over here to exposure. You can see I've got that, and I could just bring up the exposure. So if we wanted to bring up the shadows or something in an area, we could do that with a local adjustment. So I find that kind of intuitive in a sense where you can see the different layers and then you can turn them on and off. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then what else do we have? We have a clipboard there, we have some information, and I haven't used these actually at all yet. I've just sort of done some basic adjustments, like I said, and I export. Now there's a couple different ways to export your images. One of them is just coming up here and saying export images and a variant. If you click on that, now I'll show you what I meant about disabling sharpening. You can just click there, disable sharpening. and that'll disable any sharpening that's applied. Or like I said, you can just reduce the amount. And then you can pick how you would like this exported. I've got it set for a TIFF, Adobe RGB, resolution 300, scale fixed, and then I export to any file that I want, 16-bit. So there's a couple different ways to do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this overview. I also have a discount voucher code. There's a 60-day free trial, so if you want to check it out, I suggest you download it, compare it to Lightroom, see if you like it, and if you want to save 10%, there's a voucher code below, and I'll have it appear on the screen. All you gotta do is type that in and you can save 10% on Capture One Pro 8. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the rest of my videos. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I read them every day. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.